welcome to our Chair Yoga Grow with GoGo series. Before we get moving, just a reminder of what else GoGo provides. With one phone number, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. And that phone number is 855-464-6872. Also, a reminder that at the bottom of your GoGo receipts, you have a referral code. You can use that referral code to give it to a friend so that they can use the code and then they get $10 in credit and you get $10 in credit. I'm sorry, I said that in such a funny way, but you have a code, give it to a friend, they'll get credit and so will you. We also have a Facebook group, so if you want to continue any of the conversations we have here on Facebook, you're welcome to find us there. Okay, so if I have not introduced myself to you or you haven't met me, you're new to class, I'm Adra. I teach the movement classes here at GoGo. I'm an occupational therapist and a movement teacher, and I'm very happy to be here with you. What do you need? So since it's chair yoga, all you need is a chair. I have a chair with no armrests. I find it's easiest to move around and use. If you have a chair with armrests, that's fine. I prefer a chair that doesn't roll around because it's a little safer. If all you have is an office chair, that's fine. Even a couch is fine. So you're welcome to modify and adjust in whatever way you need to so that you can use the equipment that you have. So I think I got all confused about the moves of the week last time, but does anybody remember the move of the week for yoga? I think I had said last week something that wasn't true about what this move of the week is, but what's the move of the week? Does anybody remember from last chair yoga on a Wednesday? I'm gonna stop sharing because I think I see there were maybe in the chat.
Gee, I'm still not getting any sound.
No one remember the moves of the week. And I'm also seeing some new other people who've logged in. Oklahoma, another Newton. Oh my gosh, 3 of you from Newton. Okay, so Julie and Joe remember the move over the other, yeah, the figure 4. So that's what I had said. And then I was looking back at my notes. We also have this other move of the week. Does anyone remember? And if you're showing me, I can't see everybody's video all at once because there's so many of us in this room. So you can always throw it in the chat or shout it out. Something about arms reaching back. So we sort of have 2 moves of the week because I fibbed last week. We had the figure 4 and then the arms reaching back. If anyone remembered that from last time when we were doing yoga, just thinking about how much time do we spend behind our bodies? We're so forward. How much time do we spend back here? Anyways, you can look forward to another move of the week at the end of class today. So with that, we'll get going. So we'll start seated. If you don't see me as your main screen and you want to see me as your main screen, you can go to the top right-hand corner of your computer and you'll find something that says view and you can pick speaker view. If you want to see everybody moving with you at once in small little videos, you can pick gallery view. If you're on a phone or a tablet, you usually have to swipe. So you can swipe in different directions to see if you can find me, but I should be spotlighted for you. All right, so from our seated position, let's just rock a little side to side first. Just settling in, feeling those sits bones grounded. Feeling the weight going from one hip to the other. And then feel both sits bones, so those bones in your bum, fully planted on your chair. So see if you can find those sits bones grounding onto your chair. And then begin to circle your torso. So now the hips stay grounded, the pelvis stays grounded, and we're moving the spine. And circle the other way. Maybe noticing any stiff spots. I must have slept kind of funny because I can feel some extra stiff areas. All right, and coming back to center, let's do a few shoulder rolls forward. So just a reminder that this is your time and your practice. So if you ever need to modify, take a break, add something, subtract something, you're totally welcome to do that. Let's circle the other way. Shoulder circles back. You want to remember that this is your time. So listen to your body, do what feels good. Okay, and then letting those shoulders drop, and we'll just take 2 minutes here to have a brief meditation to settle in. So closing the eyes or allowing your gaze to soften to the ground. Feeling your spine long and your jaw relaxed. And begin to tune into how you're doing. Tune into you. What's going on physically? So maybe noting, how is the body doing physically? And then also noticing how you're doing mentally. What kind of thoughts are present? And also checking in emotionally. What kind of feelings are present? And are the feelings sensed as words or sensations within the body, or both, or colors? How do you experience feelings, emotions? So just taking note of all of these things. Your physical body, your mental state, your emotional state in this moment. And just acknowledge where you're starting from. From this space of awareness, feel free to set an intention for your practice. Maybe noting what's brought you to class. Is there something you'd like to cultivate? Maybe it's strength, flexibility, calm, a sense of groundedness, ease. Whatever it is, set it for yourself now so that you can acknowledge that throughout class and maybe find ways to adjust the poses and the movements to honor that intention. We'll take a deep inhale together in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. One more time, deep inhale. And let it out. Let's blink open the eyes. And we'll inhale, open up the arms and bring the chest forward. So you're stretching the front of the body. The head can lift. It's like the gaze is going up where the wall meets the ceiling. And then exhale, round your back, give yourself a hug, wrap your arms around yourself, reach back to give yourself a nice hug. Inhale, open the front of the body, chest comes forward, tail reaches back. So we're creating a back bend. And then exhale, round the back, give yourself a hug, drop the chin, tuck the tail. Keep going, follow your breath. All right, and then coming back to center, releasing the arms. Shake them out. Let's go to bend side to side. So it's helpful to scooch forward here in your chair. So if you're really far back, I'm just going to show you sideways for a moment. If you're really far back, you lose some mobility. So see if you can just scooch yourself forward if you're still back. It's almost like you're sitting on a stool instead of a chair with a back rest. And we'll go ahead and bend side to side. So reaching one arm down, coming back up, and then the other arm. Let's add some breathing. So we inhale on your way down. Exhale as you rise. Inhale on the way down. Exhale coming up. Keep going. And make your way back to center. Let's take cactus arms. So elbows are bent 90 degrees. Elbows are about as high as the shoulders. We're going to twist the upper body. So feeling that torso rotate, twisting right and left. Going as fast or as slow as you'd like. You can do a bit of both, some slow, some fast. And then making your way back to center, releasing those arms and doing a few shoulder rolls one direction, doesn't matter which way, and shoulder rolls the other way. And letting the shoulders relax. We're going to stick to the arms for a little bit longer. Let's interlace those fingers. So interweaving the fingers and then pushing the palms forward. So you get a nice stretch here in the hands and in the forearms. So just noting that you're not creating a cup, right? You're trying to push the hands forward to stretch the palms of the hands and the forearms. You can stay here. You can also go lower if that's more comfortable on your shoulders, or if it feels okay, you'll reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Only doing that if that feels nice on the body. Let's take 3 deep breaths. And releasing the arms, shake them off. Okay, let's bend the elbows, creating a W shape, palms face forward. So the elbows are close to the rib cage or the torso. We'll inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, bend the elbows, come back to that W shape, sliding the shoulder blades down the back. We inhale, stretch, reach the arms, and exhale, bend. If you want, you can add those fingers. So you inhale, open up the hands, spread the fingers wide as you can, and then exhale as you bend into your W shape, create a fist. Inhale, we open the hands, stretch the arms up, and exhale, we bend and create fists. Keep going at your own pace. So don't worry about my speed. Go at your speed. You might start to feel some heat in the shoulders as you do this. A few more times following that breath. And then we'll go ahead and let that go, releasing the arms. Let's give our arms a little bit of break and we'll go into our legs and our feet. We're going into some heel raises. So you're going to keep the balls of the feet, the toes on the ground, and you'll lift the heels, alternating, lifting one heel and then the other. I know you can't fully see my feet here, but that shouldn't matter so much. We're just lifting one heel and then the other, and you should feel the back of the leg, the back of the lower leg working. So our calf muscles are helping lift the heel. Thinking about lifting that heel directly up And noticing if it wants to waver, if it wants to knock in or out as it goes up. And then we'll move into marching. So you can keep doing the heel raises, or if you'd like to add on, you'll completely lift the foot off the ground, lifting the knee up and bring it back down. And then the other. So alternating marching here. Nice, smooth breath. All right, and then let's give that a break. Go ahead and pause, both feet down on the ground. I'm gonna turn sideways for this next one. You can stay facing your direction. I'm just moving so you can see. Let's stretch the left leg first. So we're gonna sit tall and stretch that left leg forward in front of us. So the right knee stays bent, the left leg is straight. From here, we'll point and flex the foot. So we're moving through the ankle. So the toes reach down and try and touch the ground. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And then they flex, toes reach up towards the ceiling or towards your knee. So pointing and flexing the foot, feeling that motion in the ankle. And then next time your toes are facing up towards the ceiling, we'll pause. I want this next movement to come from your hip. So from your thigh bone moving in your hip socket. So other parts of the body should not need to move. So we're thinking thigh bone moving in the hip socket. We're going to turn the toes to face out or away from the body, so to the left. So you'll find that that thigh bone can rotate to the left. You'll find the knee follows, the shin follows, and the foot follows. And then turn the toes in to the right. Again, thigh bone is rotating in the hip socket, knee moves, shin moves, foot moves. But we're finding, is it possible for this motion to really happen at the hip? We can sometimes trick ourselves by moving just the foot and think that we're moving our thigh bone, but actually we're just moving our ankle. So watching that knee, that's a nice tell, is the knee following? And then we'll let the toes point out, so away from the body or face out. So the knee is facing slightly out, the shin and the toes. It doesn't need to be extreme, so we all have different ranges of motion. You're gonna maintain this out position and we'll lean forward just a few inches until you find a stretch along the back or the side of the leg. So from this orientation, it might feel different from how we usually do this stretch. So we usually do the stretch with the toes facing up towards the ceiling. Now we're in this turned out position. As you come forward, it might feel different. So just noticing, it's up to you how far forward you go. So you might just need to lean a few inches. You can have your hands resting on your thigh, on your knee. If you're very flexible, you could take your forearm to your thigh, but that might be a lot. So just being kind with yourself, gentle with yourself. 2 more breaths here. Lift your torso up. We're going to turn the toes now to face in. So moving through center, toes are going to face in. So toes will face to the right. The knee is also going to the right. It might be really subtle. So a lot of us don't have that much internal rotation just due to lack of practice, lack of moving our thigh this way. So just as best you can, turning in. And same thing, leaning forward and noticing, what do you feel? Where do you feel it? And you're just moving in a range that works for you. Hands can rest on your thigh, on your knee. You could even bring your shin down. Not your shin. What is this? Forearm down to your leg. So noticing, how does that feel? A couple of deep breaths. Noticing if you're clenching anywhere you don't need to be. Let the jaw be relaxed. Go ahead and come on up, toes face back up to center, and let's rebend that left knee. And windshield wiper those legs, shake it off. All right, let's switch sides. So right leg comes forward now, or whichever leg you didn't do. With the straight leg or bent knee, doesn't really matter, we're going to point and flex the foot, so finding that motion in the ankle. So the toes will reach down and touch the ground, and then the heel will move and the toes will reach up towards the ceiling. Just moving in whatever range works for you. Nice, smooth breath. All right, next time the foot is flexed with the toes facing up to the ceiling, we'll pause. And now we're coming back to that internal and external rotation. So we're thinking about that thigh bone and how it moves in our hip socket. So we'll turn the toes to face out or face to the right and find that the knee is also facing that direction because we're initiating the motion from our thigh bone in the hip socket. And then initiating from that thigh bone, feel that the knee can turn in and the toes can follow, or the shin and then the toes can follow. So internally and externally rotating that thigh and allowing what's below it to follow. Noticing if you have a tendency to want to make this motion happen from your ankle and your foot instead of from your thigh bone. So our hip is a nice ball and socket joint, so it has a lot of degrees of mobility. It can move in lots of different directions. And we want to actually utilize those different motions. All right, next time we're in that turned out position. So thigh bones rotating out, knee, toes facing to the right. We'll begin to lean forward a little bit. So everyone's different. You might only need to lean forward half an inch. And maybe that's enough stretch for you. Maybe you bend the elbows, maybe you bring a forearm down. Just being kind to your body, notice where you feel this in your body, and take several deep breaths. And I'm coming up. And we'll now turn in. So moving those toes through center, knees, shin, foot, or toes face the left or inward. And same thing, leaning forward to whatever degree you'd like so that you can feel some sensations along the back of that right leg. And sometimes it feels like it's more on the inner part of the leg or outer part of the leg when we add this rotation. Soft jaw, deep breaths. Bring the toes back to center, lift the torso up, rebend the knee, and shake it off. All right, from our seated position, we're gonna revisit last yoga session's move of the week. We're gonna think about reaching those arms back behind us. So finding your spine nice and tall. We're going to find that you can reach those arms back without moving your torso. I'm gonna take off my sweater so you can see a little bit better. All right, so if we all bring our arms out to the side in the T position, one way to bring the arms further back behind us would be to move the spine, right? So I've done a back bend. I've moved my rib cage forward to move the arms back or to make it appear as though the arms are moving back. But really my shoulder joint hasn't changed. So can you find yourself nice sitting tall, no movement of the rib cage or spine? Can those arms go back? So it's different. It's not a back bend. We're working on finding that motion of the arms reaching back without the spine moving. So we're doing both arms at the same time. We're at a T position for the moment, but let's go down a little bit. Just move down an inch or two and feel that same thing. The arms can move back without the rib cage moving. So we often find it's easier to move the rib cage and the small muscles around the spine because our shoulders are so tight, our chest muscles are so tight. Let's lower the arms a little bit more. You might find as we lower the arms, it's a little bit easier to move back. Right, we spend a lot more time with our arms by our side than out to the side. Maybe go a little bit lower and see, oh, can I go even further back? You can play around with how your palms are facing. So generally, if our palms are facing forward, it's going to be a little bit harder to move back. If you turn the palms to face back, you can probably move further, that internal rotation. So give yourself the right amount of challenge. So I like to do palms forward because it's harder and it's a good challenge. But if that feels like too much, maybe you play with palms back. Again, trying to keep that torso nice and still, that you're not moving the spine to make this happen. If it feels okay, you're going to start to move up. So going past that parallel to the earth and going a little higher up. You might find that there's a lot less mobility here, or there's some burning in the shoulders and the chest. Take breaks if needed. We'll just do this for another 30 seconds or so. You can go as high up as up towards the ceiling. And this is where I see a lot of cheats when we bring the arms up towards the ceiling. I see a lot of back bending. This, oh, I'm reaching the arms back by back bending. No, you want to keep that torso still. Can you reach those arms back by moving your arms, moving your shoulders? Right, we want to find that mobility that we maybe don't do on a regular basis. All right, 10 more seconds, just a few more. And we'll release, shake it off. Woo! I don't know about for you, but that feels like a workout for me. Okay, let's come up to stand. So as usual for our chair yoga, we do a couple of minutes of standing. If standing is not for you, you can stay seated and that's totally fine. I like to come behind my chair so that I have something to hold on to for balance. If getting behind your chair is not possible, find a wall, find a table, even the back of a couch, if that's something you can access. So anything that you can hold on to for balance. I'm sideways so you can see, you can keep facing your computer or phone or tablet. All right, so hands on your support. Let's let our feet be about 4 to 6 inches apart and allow the toes to face forward. So toes are facing forward. We moved through our ankles quite a bit today, so we're gonna add on to that and add some heel raises. So you can start by doing one foot at a time. So lifting one heel, feeling that knee come forward because it has to move somewhere. And then the other, so alternating. This is option 1, alternating heel lifts by bending one knee and then the other as the heel rises. If that feels okay and you want to add on, we'll do both heels at the same time. So legs will stay straight, heels come up and back down, heels up and down, just moving in a range that works for you. It doesn't need to be huge. Watching that you're not just thrusting your whole body forward, you're trying as best you can to be vertical up and down, right? It's not going to be perfect. You can see me, I even have to come a little bit forward because our center of gravity is now over the balls of the feet and not over the heels. But seeing if you can keep yourself relatively upright as you go up and down. Inhale up for the breath, exhale down. Just a few more. All right, let's lower the heels, take a little break there. And we'll step the right foot back behind us, anywhere from 2 to 3 feet. Actually, I'll say 1 to 3 feet, 1 to 3 feet. All 10 toes will face forward. Back leg stays straight, we bend the front knee. So we're going into a warrior 1-like variation, and we're pushing that right heel down into the ground. So that pushing of the heel down into the ground should give you a little bit of a calf stretch. We just work those calf muscles, we'll stretch them out now. Maintaining this position, you can keep your hands on your chair or your support. You can hover your hands above your support, or you can reach those arms up towards the sky. Now, if you're choosing to reach those arms up to the sky, try to incorporate what we already learned, that you can reach them up without using your spine. It doesn't need to be a back bend. Can you find that motion in the shoulders to reach the arms up instead of in the spine to reach the arms up? And if you're seated in your chair, you can still do the upper body portion of this without the legs. Having the arms up to the sky can be quite tiring, actually, because we're not used to being up here. Hands back to your support. Let's step forward. Back foot meets the front. Switching sides. Left foot steps back 1 to 3 feet. Let's keep all 10 toes facing forward today. And we'll bend that front knee. Back leg stays straight. So back heel pushes towards the earth. That right knee bends. Torso is upright, so shoulders are over the pelvis. Keep holding onto your support or hover the hands. Or reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And again, seeing, is it possible, if you're choosing to reach those arms up, to reach the arms up without moving the spine? And you can always try. So a great way to check if you're doing that is exaggerate it, bring the arms maybe eye level, and move your spine to reach the arms up to the ceiling, versus bring the arms eye level, keep your spine still, and then move the arms. Sometimes a way for us to learn something is to do it the way that I don't want you to do it. And it's not that there's something wrong with the other way, but we already do that motion so much that we want to find some motion in those joints that don't move as much. All right, let's bring the hands back to the chair and step forward. Back foot meets the front. We're coming back to those heel raises just for one more set. This time, let's take those feet together if that feels okay. The toes will touch, the heels might be slightly apart, or they might be together. It really just depends on the anatomy of your feet. Feet mostly together. We'll inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Again, you have the option to do one heel at a time so that you have that balance. We'll only do about 15 of these, give or take. If this is getting easy, you can always let go of your support for a little more challenge. If it's hard, please keep holding on or go to alternating heels. Great, heels come back down. Let's place our hands on our chair and walk ourselves back into a chair dog or wall dog or an upside down L. So just lots of different names for the same thing. We walk the feet back and we're bringing our legs perpendicular to the earth and our torso parallel to the ground. So depending on your hamstring flexibility, you might need to bend your knees. Depending on your shoulder flexibility, you might need to lift your torso. You might need to bend your elbows. So find what works for you. Couple of deep breaths. All right, lifting your torso up, walking yourself forward, and let's come back to our chair, back to our seat. Once you're there, no rush, we'll just take some circles with the torso. So taking your time to make your way back if you're already there. Let's take some circles. Maybe you inhale for half the circle, exhale for the other half. Circle the other way, or maybe it's easier to inhale for a full circle, exhale for the second circle. And make your way back to center. Let's take the legs wide for a moment. so that you get a little inner thigh motion. So from the feet together, the legs go wide. Depending on your chair, you might need to scooch forward, or other people find that it's helpful to scooch back towards the backrest. So whatever works for you. And we'll go ahead and go into a side stretch here. So leaning into your right leg, that right hand will push into your thigh, or your right forearm can find an armrest, or the right forearm can find your leg. That left arm can stay down, or maybe it reaches out to the side, up towards the ceiling, or all the way overhead for a side stretch. We'll just hold here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Go ahead and come all the way up. And we'll switch sides. So leaning to your left, hand on your leg, forearm to your armrest or forearm to your thigh. Right arm stays down, reaches out to the side, up towards the sky, or all the way overhead. So wherever feels nice on the shoulders, on the body, deep breaths. And coming back to center. Bring those legs back to center. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Let's bend the elbows out to the side, palms face down, fingertips almost touch as your hands run in front of your body. It's like you're pushing the air down in front of the body. Arms come out to the side once again. Inhale, palms face up, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Bend the elbows, palms face down, fingertips almost touch as the hands run in front of the body. Last time, a little different this time. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's pause here. Thumbs can rest on your sternum. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. Take a moment to check in with that intention if you set one. And just acknowledge it. No judgment. Also taking a moment to just notice how your body is feeling. After this movement, have there been any changes mentally, physically, emotionally? And then take a moment to thank yourself for showing up and taking time to take care of your mind and your body. Let's breathe together. Deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Always a pleasure to see you here. So next Wednesday will be functional fitness. So that class has a lot more standing and we use weights. So if you're looking for something a little bit more with more intensity, you're welcome to join us for that. And then we will have time now if you have questions. Oh, I see here in the chat, Miriam, you were saying you couldn't maybe see. I cannot see what your feet are doing. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to always see the feet. I was just pointing and flexing the feet. So it was a motion. I'll show you here, actually. I can, obviously I'd be in a chair, but I was moving my ankle through the ankle. So the little toes were reaching down towards the ground. I'm guessing, I'm not positive. And then flexing. And maybe it was at an earlier point you were wondering. Usually my feet are just flat on the ground. The problem is if you can see my feet, then my whole body is really far back and then it's harder. We've gotten a lot of complaints that you can't see me well enough when I'm that far back. So we can always try and adjust here and there. But for the most part, my feet are always flat on the ground, or if I'm talking about my feet, we're going to be either doing circles, and I usually do the same thing with my hand. So when I say that I'm moving my ankle, this being my ankle, I'll usually move my wrist in the same way initially, so you get a sense of what we're doing. Function for the week. I'm not sure, Tish, what your question is, so I can guess. The move of the week. Oh, the move of the week. I didn't tell you. I thought it in my head and didn't say it out loud. Side bending. I want you to think about side bending. So until next yoga session, I want you to think about bending side to side. And when are the times that you do this naturally, or when are the times you can sort of incorporate that into your life? You're sitting in a chair and you dropped something. You drop something just for fun, instead of turning and leaning forward to grab it. That's awesome. What if you tried to reach for it, bending to your side? So bending side to side. Wait, was there another question there? I'm not sure if I missed something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
Can I just speak a question?
Yes, please do.
What weights do you use in the next class?
So any weights that you have that are lightweight. So we use usually 1 to 3 pounds. If you
Okay.
don't have weights, you can grab water bottles or cans. We
Okay,
also do a lot of leg work, so the weights aren't always necessary.
great. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks for being here, Pat. Anyone else have any questions? And questions about like class, not GoGo questions. If you have GoGo questions, contact GoGo directly by emailing them back from the invite that you received. They can usually answer those questions and I can't.
Okay, when is the next chair question, chair class?
Chair class. So we alternate Wednesdays. So next Wednesday will be functional fitness, mostly standing class. And then the week after that will be chair yoga again. So if I pull up my calendar, I can give you the exact date. So next chair yoga will be Wednesday, July 24th.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Thanks for being here.
I'm Doug from Connecticut, by the way.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was looking around. Doug, in the red shirt.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome. Any other questions? Yes, and if you're ready to go, you're absolutely welcome to just pop off. No problem. I'm seeing some of you wave.
This may be an advanced question. We talked about the Feldenkrais before. A lot of the things that you do, you know, with the arms and stuff, it stops there. And with my experience with the Feldenkrais was the eye movement was always the last thing. So whenever you turn to the left with your arms, the last thing you did was to turn your eyes to the left. And, you know, the same the other direction type of thing, you know, but it was always an eye exercise at the end. Is it okay just to add that? Because I mean, yours is just the same and, you know, your basic class type of thing, but it wakes my eyes up. And I always
Absolutely.
forget, you know, how much we use our eyes. And as we get older, we're always looking down. But so the idea, whenever you do all these things to look all these different directions and use the eye movement as the last thing, it really helps me. So I just check in with you to see if you're familiar with it or if you recommend or say no to it.
I think that's excellent. I always encourage people to do what feels good. And so if adding the eye movements help, then that's wonderful. And we've even done a few classes where I have you do something and then we do it again with the eyes. And we find that we actually usually have more range of motion if we let our eyes follow. So wonderful. Use your eyes as much as you'd like. Incorporate what you already know. I love that. Looks like Bertha, you want to say something.
Thank you.
I had a Feldenkrais class on eye movement only. They spent the whole time on eye movements.
That's so cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, the eyes are just they're so amazing. And we think that they're kind of like brain tissue. They come from the brain, and the way our eyes move tell us about where our body is in space and how our bodies can move. So very cool.
I was going to a Feldenkrais class, but with the pandemic, I have isolated myself. So I really appreciate what you do, Adra. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here almost every week, pretty much every week, with a smile on your face. It's always wonderful to have you.
Hi, I'm Kat from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm basically a cancer survivor of almost 7 years. And after the treatments and everything, I ended up getting osteoporosis, and then they misdiagnosed me to osteopenia. And I have it in my spine, my neck, and my hips. And lately, I've been having a lot of issues with my legs and my sciatica, with a lot of pain running down. This stretch has really helped today, and I'm going to continue it because I get a lot of pains in my ankles and that. So I'm hoping these stretches will alleviate all that.
Thank you for
And I
sharing.
just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad it's helped today, and you can keep coming and seeing how that makes your body feel and adjusting as needed. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, looks like I'll be letting you go. I will see you next week, hopefully, for functional fitness. And if not, the week after for another yoga class. Have a wonderful rest of the week.